My first confidence booster to say I have arrived, this is where I'm supposed to be. I was at the New Day Associates and BMW International Fashion Designer competition. It was 750 designers. It was a 3-day process from all over the world. Bahamas, Hawaii, Alaska, Tokyo, you name it, they were all there. And I came in 3rd place. But I acted like a fool because you'd have thought I won. Because you got to understand what my story was before I got here. And people were like, you know, it's just 3rd place. I said, nah, I won. And then from that point, I won an award every single year. To whereas I went to Magic, couldn't afford no booth or none of that. I'm still a rookie trying to get myself, make money. And I had a hotel. So my hotel, I would go to buyers and walk around. I would wear my clothes and I would change every 2 hours, walk around and give contact information for time slots to come and see my clothing at the hotel. And Damien and Carl and Alexandra and them, they saw me like, yo, what you doing, young? Well, we done seen you walk through here changing clothes. Like, what you do? I said, I'm a clothing designer. I said, listen, I'm not on your level. I can't afford to have this extravagant booth that you guys have. I got to do what I got to do. And they was like, man, we like you, man. We like that. She's like, let's sit down and let's do something. Let's possibly do something if you would be willing to do it. It's like, hell yeah. For you, by you, let's get it. So then his mom had a brownstone in New York. He sold the furniture to get equipment. We really had a sweatshop going down there. I ain't going to lie. We had beds down there. We was down there sleeping and waking up making clothes. So when the transition from them doing like the Fat Alberts on the clothing and the cartoons on the clothing, when they transitioned into suits, I was part of that movement. And they changed my life because they gave me an opportunity. So now with a replica black history FUBU, you understand that I could say like I had a nugget in that. You know what I mean? And then from there, I met Alicia Keys. I dressed her for one of the BET Awards. Then I went on tour with Keisha Cole. Then I did Toni Braxton, Don't Break My Heart album cover. That's my outfit. Then I did Toni Braxton again, to where it's like she did the Jet magazine cover, her changing her looks, all of that, going on tour with her. So I was there when Tamar Braxton and all of them were younger. And I was an assistant stylist with the whole Braxton family, you know. And I miss Tracy because Tracy and I was the closest. And I miss her dearly. I'll be at her house eating. We'd be traveling. She remember, boy, I remember all that big hair you had and stuff like that. It was just great times. And I'm glad I was able to spend some time with her before she went on. Because she was an amazing person. She ain't played no games, man. And I miss her truly. You know what I'm saying? And then from there, I did Rihanna. So I was part of that team when she was with Jay-Z and them Umbrella. I was part of that team. I was on that when she changed over like that and when she transformed. I was on that team. Then I dressed her with her hottest looks for 2008 in London when she was out in London. And then I did a collaboration down with another designer that we're on front cover of Vogue. And they did her top 10 looks. And one of her looks was one of the ones that I did by myself working with Max Azorian.
Right, tell me about that. How was that experience?
That was great, man. So when I got with Yves Saint Laurent, Yves Saint said other ways that you can make money is by being a ghost designer or being a creative director for other brands.
I want to get on that. I know you're going to get into a ghost designer. Let's coin that today.
So a ghost designer is someone that's like a ghost writer for a writer. We sketch clothing, we submit it, they pay us for it. So I ghost designed for Gucci, I had ghost designed for Max Azorian, I ghost designed for Burberry. But to this day, I'm celebrating 13 years ghost designer for YSL, and I'm celebrating 11 years with Zara. So with Zara, for the East Coast and West Coast, all of the stuff that comes in the new season, that's me and 3 other designers.
Okay.
And then I'll give y'all a fun fact that it's about to happen within the next 4 months. The YSL shoe heel, I created that in 2008 when I was with YSL. I made 3 heels. One had YSL, one had yeast on it, and then one had the YSL with the large Y, medium S, and then small L. But they end up going with the YSL heel. I created that. So Yves Saint Laurent's lover has my sketch in a frame. He's going to take it out of the frame and send me a copy of it. And I'm going to have it here. And then I'm going to do a signed copy for people who have the YSL shoe. and they gave me permission to do that. But I created that shoe.
First, let me say, whoa, 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 whoa. Wow. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to fangirl for a couple of seconds.
It's all good, man.
Woo!
For years, I didn't talk about it.
Wow.
And it was funny, I used to see the women out there wearing it, and I'm like, damn.
Congratulations, that's big. That feels, I know that feels good.
Nah, it's cool. We just started talking about it because one of my friends who was in Milan with me, so I was in Milan when Tom Ford came through. You know, I seen him at a young age. We both was there, you know, and I'll tell you that story when we get to that. But it's always a treat to see people with my clothes on, you know. Even when I went at Saks Fifth Avenue, I had no experience. Saks Fifth Avenue turned me down 3 times.
Wow.
The first time, showed them my sketches. They said my sketches are incredible, but I'm all over the place. Like, who are you marketing to? I had urban gear, gowns, suits. And they was like, well, who are you marketing to? Who is your marketing audience? So they turned me down. It's like, come back when you get a little bit more.
But they gave you good feedback.
They did. Michael Fink, who was the regional director over there at that time. And then I came back again, and I had a small collection of gowns. And they was like, your fabric is cheap. So then I was just like, what the fuck? So what I did was I went to New York. I spent 8 hours in there. And as soon as I walked in, I understood. They don't look at price. They look at quality and the experience. On every level, there's a concierge on every floor. So if you can't find something, they will call a person from the department to come over and get you and walk you over and explain. It's an experience, excuse me. So I got it. So then now, the third time, I was up for an award and they showed our collection. And I won Designer of the Year for New York, London, and Paris. And then they were there and the lady was like, oh no, I need to see you at the corporate office tomorrow. At the time, my manager and I, we didn't even go to sleep. We got in the car, we parked in front, and we slept in front of it until it opened. And we went upstairs. Michael Fink was like, what are you doing here? I said, oh, I have a meeting today, brother. And on that day, 147 pieces, which is unheard of today. They bought 147 pieces and wrote me a check for 1.4 million. And then that's when everything changed. And then we found out from the PR, Miss Beverly, PR, she was like, we just found out that you are the first African-American male couture designer that has showcased their clothes in Saks Fifth Avenue. So I have made history.
Wait. Somebody make a note of that. All right, I got to repeat.
Yeah, so I made history. And then from there, I started doing shows. Then I was invited over to Seoul, Korea. I did Seoul, Korea Fashion Week by the Prime Minister over there. And I ended up staying over there for almost a year. Then I went to Tokyo. Ended up staying in Tokyo for a year and a half. Then I went to Indonesia, stayed in Indonesia for a year. Then when I came back to the States, everybody was like, who is this guy? Like, I'm making waves for myself. I'm doing things for myself. And then I did my farewell show because I needed a break. And it was my last collection. Oh, and then let me tell you this. My aunt called me one night at 12 o'clock in the morning, going crazy. Like, oh my God, I just heard them mention your name. Dow Jones asked Saks Fifth Avenue who were their top sellers for the year, and my name was mentioned in the lines of with Yves Saint Laurent, my mentor before my mentor, who was it? Yves Saint Laurent, Dolce Gabbana, all of them, and my names was mentioned. My clothes sold out in Saks Fifth Avenue in New York in 45 days. And then from there, I met this woman in between, God rest her soul, real good friend of mine, 5'1", beautiful lady with amazing accent, and we became great friends, traveling, flying here, going here, and she would buy, spending my collection. She was like, I want this, and this. And mind you, she's 5'1". So I had to recreate all this to her size, but money wasn't an issue with her. Those are my type of cars. You know what I'm saying? And she used to tell me about her godfather for 2 years. And then when I did my farewell show, she was crying. She was like, oh my God, this is probably the best. I just called my godfather. You got to meet him. I was like, look, who the fuck is your godfather? You know what I'm saying? Like, is he mafia? Am I they going to shoot me? Are they going to put me in a duffel bag and ship me off somewhere? You know what I'm saying? Like, who is he? So she said, I'm going to call him right now. So while she was calling him, I was doing an interview. I don't know if y'all remember the Fashion Network, FN.
I do know the Fashion Network.
So they were interviewing me on my farewell show and stuff like that. And she interrupted the interview in the middle of the interview. And they looking at her, the producer's going nuts. And she said, I'm sorry, he has to take this call. She gives me the phone. I'm talking to this guy with a strong Italian accent, could barely understand what the fuck he was saying. And he was like, yo, congratulations. I'm so proud of you. You know what I'm saying? Everything. And I'm like, thank you. And I was like, I wish I knew who I was talking to. And he bust out laughing. And he was like, you don't know who I am? And I said, no. She hasn't told me that I've known this woman for 2 years and she's never mentioned your name. He said, this is Yves Laurent. My face was like, I started crying. My man was like, what the fuck is going on? I was like, what on the fucking phone? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, he's like, look, why don't you come over here? I would love to collaborate or see what we could do together, see if some synergy would happen. I was like, fuck yes. I was only supposed to go there for 2 weeks. 2 weeks turned into 3 months. 3 months turned into 7 months. 7 months turned into a year. So my team was like, yo, when the fuck is you coming back? I'm like, fuck you. This is a love once in a lifetime. Y'all better hold the fort down. Come back. So then he was like, look, I don't want you to get away from your business. So I would go home for a week every month. I ended up living with him in his estates for over 2 years. A little over 2 years. And when I tell you he changed my life, like he changed my life.